Jake Paul fight. What is your reaction when you see that?
I don't really know where to go with this subject because if I say something, I'm going to get backlash.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah. Tell him, this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up?
Floyd Mayweather has finally spoken up about the rumored Jake Paul versus Gervonta "Tank" Davis fight. And just like you'd expect, he didn't sugarcoat anything. In true Mayweather style, he shut down the hype around Jake Paul's circus-like appeal while making it clear that Tank Davis is still one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing today.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in this sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
With his usual confidence, Floyd made it clear, Jake Paul might be great at turning social media fame into money, but stepping into the ring with a fighter like Gervonta Davis is a whole different level.
Something I'm going to get backlash because, you know, no matter what I say, it's not.
Okay. So you can't
It's
say
not right. But well, basically, when you're watching boxing for free, you can have millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
But when you're watching Floyd Mayweather, you have to pay.
It's real.
So, I mean, I do pay-per-view. I did pay-per-view numbers.
Floyd Mayweather has repeatedly criticized Jake Paul's boxing career, questioning whether he can truly hang with real professionals. In multiple interviews, Mayweather's message has been the same. Paul hasn't faced a true boxer yet, and when he finally does, it won't end well for him. While he acknowledges Jake's success against athletes from other combat sports, Floyd made it clear that going up against a seasoned pro is a completely different challenge.
He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
It get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMT.
You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
No apologize.
There's no way he get demolished.
As soon as Jake Paul's name was linked to Gervonta "Tank" Davis, boxing insiders quickly shared their thoughts. From top fighters to analysts, opinions were mixed. Some dismissed the idea entirely, calling it bad for the sport's integrity, while others raised concerns about boxing's future. Still, a few admitted that, like it or not, a crossover fight like this brings major money and media attention, something the business side of boxing can't ignore.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You could knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you were saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
Critics haven't held back on the idea of Gervonta Davis fighting Jake Paul. Many are calling it a joke and a threat to Tank's legacy. One fan on Essentially Sports called the move pure insanity, slamming the idea of Davis jumping from 135 to 195 pounds and accusing Jake Paul of chasing a quick payday off boxing's biggest name. Veteran analyst Paulie Malignaggi also chimed in, saying Davis has dodged top lightweight contenders and faced hand-picked opponents. Lightweight champ Shakur Stevenson took it even further, calling the potential fight a slap in the face to boxing if Tank chooses hype over a real unification bout. Together, these voices reflect a clear message. Fans and experts see more risk than reward in Tank chasing clout instead of competition.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really going to do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Shakur Stevenson has openly slammed the idea of Gervonta "Tank" Davis fighting Jake Paul before facing him. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Shakur said it would be unfair, not just to him, but to the sport as a whole. "Man, Tank is disrespecting boxing if he picks Jake Paul over me," he said. Stevenson is clearly frustrated that Davis might skip a real unification fight, the kind that defines legacies, just to face a YouTuber in an exhibition. He's also called out Tank for claiming to be the best, saying talk means nothing. If Davis wants to prove it, he needs to do it in the ring against real contenders, not outsiders.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Gervonta Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has clearly evolved. At first, he brushed Paul off as nothing more than a loud, attention-hungry internet personality and mocked his place in boxing. That doubt stuck around, even when Paul began training seriously. But over time, Davis started to recognize Paul's dedication. By late 2023, Tank admitted Paul had shown real toughness, both mentally and physically, though he still didn't see him as an elite boxer. After Davis's controversial draw with Lamont Roach, he quietly hinted that a fight with Paul could be on the table. It was a surprising shift, showing that Davis now respects Paul's work ethic and massive audience, even if he knows there's still a big gap in skill and weight between them.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah,
like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul earned a new level of respect in the boxing world after his impressive win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The event in Anaheim broke the venue's gate record, surpassing even shows led by stars like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, a clear sign of Paul's commercial power. Major names in boxing have taken notice. Oscar de la Hoya now considers Paul a serious competitor, even saying he might one day fight for a world title. Manny Pacquiao also gave credit, saying that whatever doubts people still have, Paul's commitment is real. On top of that, analysts praised his performance in the ring, highlighting how he controlled the pace and stayed composed in a tough environment.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this. A lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
Jake Paul has officially declared that a new phase of his boxing career is underway, and this time, he's going after real professional fighters. After beating Andre August, Paul announced he's leaving behind crossover and MMA opponents to focus on the traditional boxing path. In a CNN interview, he made it clear he plans to face everyone, especially the toughest opponents where he's the underdog and can prove himself inside the ring. This commitment is echoed across his public statements and interviews. Paul wants to move beyond the spectacle and build a genuine boxing legacy by taking on credible challengers and showing he belongs at the sport's highest level.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
I don't know, like, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
9-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone, requesting multiple title shots and a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up. This was just his 13th professional boxing fight. Back here with Brian Campbell, Danny Vitlani. BC, what did you see? What are your takeaways from this latest bout from Jake Paul?
It kind of depends on what we're judging him. If we're judging Jake Paul as a future cruiserweight title challenger, I'd have to say he has a long way to go. But going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which was an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier. And he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for a cruiserweight.
Logan Paul has been a constant supporter of his younger brother Jake throughout his boxing career. He respects Jake's hard work and how he keeps proving people wrong inside the ring. Even though Jake came into boxing in an unusual way and faced plenty of doubt, Logan believes his brother's focus and smart strategy have helped him reach an impressive 11-1 record. Logan often points out that Jake isn't afraid to take on tough opponents, something rare in the sport. While Jake's journey hasn't been easy, Logan sees his success as proof of his dedication and toughness. His view highlights just how much Jake has achieved and the respect he's gained in boxing circles.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sport psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag. Until the point I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake.
Before any potential fight with Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis is set to face Lamont Roach Jr. in a highly anticipated rematch this August 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Their first fight ended in a controversial majority draw back in March in Brooklyn, where Davis kept his WBA lightweight title despite a disputed moment in the 9th round. The New York State Athletic Commission upheld the draw, but the controversy only increased the call for a clear winner. Both fighters are eager to settle the debate, making this rematch one of the biggest events on the boxing calendar.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You're going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because One thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that like got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't never seen Tank like this before. And Lamont, I see your mindset. You keep nagging about that win you should have got. Focus on the new fight. Stop talking about, I should have won. You know why? You know why he's feeling like that? Because that's like one in a lifetime. He feel like nobody got that close. I should have took the belt right there. Now I ain't gonna never get that shot again, because he know that that boy Tank done buckled up, done cleaned up his mess, and he ready to go. And it's not the same. It's not the same Tank. You ain't Tank. You done gave Tank enough time to think about who you are as a boxer and break you down. Yeah, he's cooked. Remember I told y'all what's gonna happen in August. He's cooked. And I feel like Tank, he walking him down. Like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to make an example, because Tank gonna want to be able to tell everybody to shh.
Jake Paul has confirmed that if Gervonta Davis wins his upcoming rematch against Lamont Roach, talks will pick up again for a possible 10-round exhibition fight between them. Despite the big weight gap, Paul fights at cruiserweight while Davis is a lightweight. The match is still being considered. The fight was nearly finalized before Davis's draw with Roach delayed things. If both fighters come out on top in their next fights, this exhibition could happen later this year.
Me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the latest updates. Stay tuned and join the community.